Welcome to the show. Hi, I'm Randy Jeffers, and we are live from the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Well, we have a really special guest who's going to come to us live from New York. And it's not Saturday night, but it is a really special show. You're going to want to get out your pencil and paper and take some notes because we have with us a very special guest, Ron Buffone, with a brand new company called Path of Purity that is just going to amaze you. So get ready to learn a lot. So Ron, welcome. It's great to have you with us.
Welcome. Thank you, Randy. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So Path of Purity, a new company. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's a CBD product. It is a hemp product. It is a tablet. It's pretty unique. It's the only kind in the world that's been developed and engineered to have a biphasic release. So it's a two-tier release tablet, which goes into your system, 25 milligrams initially. You take it under the tongue, and then approximately 6 or so hours later, it has that secondary release, so it gives you 12 hours worth of CBD coverage.
Well, let's sort of explain a few things, if you would. You mentioned CBD. Now, for those of us that aren't a medical person like you, tell us what does CBD mean? What is a CBD?
CBD is cannabidiol, and basically it is being used for millennia. And I can actually, if you want, I can take you through a little bit of history, here. I can pull this up properly. We can go through the true history of hemp or
Very
CBD.
good.
So there's a lot of myths, a lot of lies, a lot of confusion, like you just brought up about hemp. And what is it? A lot of people associate it with marijuana. And so there's a lot of lies, myths, misconceptions that you may be led to believe surrounding this very medicinal plant. It was first appeared in history at 2727. Back then, hemp was used for food, for medicine. It was durable. It was plentiful. It was truly a gift from God. And a lot of people don't realize this, but George Washington actually was a hemp farmer, and the Declaration of the Independence was written on hemp.
Wow, that's a great piece of trivia. Wow.
It is. So hemp can be used for food. The whole plant, the seed is amazing as well. You can use it for paper. It's better than pulp. You can use it for plastics, polymer. I believe Henry Ford was going to use it for his automobile company for panels, and it's good for rope, textiles, building materials, and far much more. But hemp got a bad rap back then because the I believe it was Vanderbilt and the paper industry did not want to use that. They wanted to use trees and not hemp because that's what they were geared up to do. So they did basically a campaign to smear hemp, and that's when you get into a lot of the different, journey with it. It's not marijuana. Marijuana is a Schedule I drug. Hemp cannot make you high. It is not habit forming. It is generally safe, and it is different than an isolated CBD. The CBD or the hemp that we use in Path of Purity is a PCR hemp. It's a complete extract of the plant that has upwards of 110 active phytocannabinoids and terpenes, and that's necessary to achieve an entourage effect. So pretty much there's a lot of interesting things with hemp, and when you take it into its perspective and what it was historically and how it's been vilified through recent history, it's really an amazing medicinal plant.
Now, there is a little bit of confusion, as you mentioned, with the association with marijuana. And as I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the hemp plant has large amounts of CBD and then trace amounts of THC, which is the part that makes you high. So there's not enough in there to really to make you high or do any of that. The marijuana is sort of the opposite, right?
Correct. CBD is high, or the hemp plant is high in CBD, whereas marijuana is high in THC. THC is the psychoactive component that gets you high, where CBD does not. And CBD does carry trace amounts of THC in it. The legal limit is basically, I believe it's 0.3%. The Path of Purities product is usually around 0.03%. So far under the legal limit, yet not enough THC in there to enable an entourage effect. So it is a full spectrum CBD. Let me see if I can get back to some other screens. Do you see the screen now again?
There we go.
All righty. So let's go back. In 1937, there was a marijuana law that was passed that made, it was sort of like hemp prohibition. And then it became a controlled substance in 1970. 2014, through the Farm Bill, it became legal. And now just 2018 with the Omnibus Bill, it became, it's much more accepted. Basically, the power of the purse was removed to prosecute, hemp farmers and growers. And so it sort of protects them by taking away the money to prosecute. But the interesting thing is in 1940, there was a Hemp for Victory campaign where hemp gets a temporary reprieve for World War II and the war effort. And some interesting, I don't know if you can see this, Save Money, the Easy Way, Grow a Garden. And then Hemp for the War. So hemp was a valuable plant, even back then, when we needed it to be. So it, like I said, it was great for ropes. It was great for building materials. It comes in abundance, and it's a great food source. And so we talked about, the psychoactive effect. So I was just curious to see exactly how well I would do, because I get asked this all the time. Frequently asked questions. Will it make you high? Can it? Will I pass a piss test? And is it marijuana? And so let me go back to, if I find it. Yeah, some of these questions. Is hemp psychoactive, and can it get you high? No. Will it get you the munchies? No. Will it cause you to fall asleep? Should you be afraid to take it while you're driving? No. Is it safe? Yes. Will it help with anxiety? Absolutely yes. Can I give it to my children? Yes. I always tell people that they need to consult their medical doctor before giving any herb or supplement to anyone. A lot of parents, when they come into our practice in Connecticut, they ask, well, I heard about hemp. Can I try to put my child on that instead of the depression meds or ADHD meds and anxiety meds? And, we tell people you can try it, and a lot of people come back and they give us a lot of very good positive results. So we don't want to ever make medical claims like that. So we're setting up a site called healingvictory.com where people and parents and anyone that's using the PO3 product would be able to go on that and give a detailed summary of their personal experience, so they can share that with other people who are looking to gain the same benefit. Can I give my dog, cat, horse CBD? Yes, yes, and yes. Will I pass a piss test? That's the most important question I get asked all the time. I'll show you that coming up in a slide. You see a lot of hemp everywhere, and there's a huge difference between hemp. There's isolates. There's hemp that's been used, we talked about, for rope, for paper, and unfortunately those hemps are sprayed with pesticides, and a lot of those find their way into the gummies that you probably see at gas stations and behind pesticides and metals. So it's important to really know your hemp source. And there's also different ways that you can utilize hemp. You can smoke it, you can vape it, you can ingest it in oils and isolates. Keep in mind right now that there's a lot of stuff going down the pipeline. A lot of synthetic hemp that is coming out right now is laced with K2, which is basically the psychoactive compound that you would find equivalent to THC. So that's pretty sad. And is it legal? The answer is yes. We went through that with the whole omnibus bill. Now, here's my home THC experiment. I ingested 12 POP hemp tablets. I basically, voided my bladder. I waited 2 hours to make sure the CBD was in my system, and then administered a drug urine test. This is the test on the left. That's the urine in the cup. And here's the results. And as you can see, there is no negative. I mean, there was no positive test, so the test came back negative for that. So it's pretty much an amazing, plant. Now let me get back to you so I hopefully can see you here. So, all right. So we do have an endocannabinoid system. Everyone has it. We have CB1 receptors, CB2 receptors in the body, and I feel that we've been duped for a long period of time. I believe the endocannabinoid system was found in approximately 1992 when we first discovered it, and that's when we learned that we had CB1 receptors, CB2 receptors, and basically what it does is it lights up our body. It brings things into stasis, and it just helps us in so many different ways. It is genuinely a miracle plant.
Well, it sounds like it, and I like your name, Path of Purity, POP for short, right? How did the name come about?
Well, the company is founded by spirit-filled believers that believe it's important to try to help people to get well and not high. So that comes from Psalm 119:9, which is, how does a young man stay on the path of purity? By living according to your word. And it's important to live according to God's word. I am a Christian herbalist. I do believe that that God loves us so much, and that he has given us everything we need to make us healthy and powerful, and that's in the plants' power. I mean, the Bible also says, let leaves be for medicine and the fruit be for meat. So therefore, you are what you eat, you are what you drink, you are what you think. And, so herbs have the ability to genuinely change the way that, your body physiologically responds to, different, environmental conditions. If you have an itch, there's natural antihistamines. If you have anxiety, there's hemp. And if you have even there's a drug right now that just recently came out. It's called Epidiolex, and it's used for seizures, and it is a hemp-based product, and it stops seizures. And basically, they use that now. Pretty much, without making any medical claims, they did their research. They found out that hemp will stop seizures, and they patented a drug after CBD hemp. It's an isolate. Theirs is a CBD isolate that does that.
Now, Ron, you mentioned that you're an herbalist, and so you're into natural, holistic forms of treating oneself, right?
Absolutely.
And so hemp, of course, is from a plant. I guess I should ask you, because it is associated, it's kind of a cousin to the marijuana plant, I guess, or a sister plant to it. You sort of mentioned the answer, I think, but I want to clarify it. Are there any moral or ethical considerations at all with hemp, in your view?
As far as moral or ethical, I morally believe that if we have an endocannabinoid system, and God created us with that, and God gave us the plant that helps us regulate that, I believe ethically and morally we should be taking it. As a matter of fact, I give it to my own children. My son Michael is in University of Buffalo, and he basically takes that. College is very stressful, so it helps quell anxiety, as well as it helps increase your mental focus. If you're looking at the screen right now, and also my younger son Matthew also takes CBD hemp. I find that they're doing better in school. They're less stressed out, and this is my personal observation. This is not a medical claim. Results vary from person to person, but we do have an endocannabinoid system. It helps regulate a lot of the body's functions. So ethically, we should use it. Scientists, again, I mentioned this earlier, in 1992 had discovered that we had an endocannabinoid system. And they're really the key that unlocks the receptor sites. It's the largest neurotransmitter system in the body. It promotes homeostasis. In other words, it brings the body into balance. So it's almost like an adaptogenic herb. We have CBD1 and CB2 receptors, and they're found, CB1 is found in the brain, the whole nervous system, connective tissues, and the like. And CB2 is in blood and lymph and adrenals and reproductive, and and immune. So that's pretty, impressive that it does that. So one thing I really wanted to bring forth here, and it's amazing that endocannabinoids are found in human breast milk, mother's milk, and are almost bioidentical to CBD hemp plants. So basically, when a child is suckling on the mother, not only is that child getting the immuno benefit of mother's milk, but it's also with hemp in it. So you have an endocannabinoid system. One of the common one is anandamide, and it's a natural neurotransmitting lipid. It's made by all mammals. It helps regulate pain, appetite, bliss, memory, so much more. And what's also really amazing, that it's not only found in CBD, it's found in other various plants like cacao, black pepper, rosemary, maca, kava, echinacea, Japanese liverwort, Chinese rhododendron, black truffles, and so much more. Incidentally, black pepper, or bioperine, is in the Path to Purity, product. So it is an amazing product. We have so many good things in there that synergistically blend together with that. I'll go into that in a couple of other slides. I don't want to just go on and on and on. I just want you to be able to ask questions and take this interview any way you'd like.
Well, I think you briefly earlier showed us a bottle of the Path of Purity POP product. Do you have it there handy?
I do.
Okay, there we go. So now, what's inside there? Is it a capsule, a tablet? Is it a liquid? How do you take CBDs?
These are tablets, and basically, I don't know if you can. I just don't want them to roll out of my hand. They're tablets. They go under the tongue.
Okay.
And what's amazing with this specific tablet is it dissolves under the tongue in approximately 30 seconds, and it gives you an initial 25 milligram dose. So it is a measured and metered dose. So if you're trying to take oils, with any of the oils, you have to tilt back your head, you have to go with the dropper, try to hold maybe 7 to 10 drops on each side of your frenulum, without it dripping down your throat, without it mixing with saliva, hoping it's going to be bioavailable. So you don't really know how much of that oil you're going to get in. So compliancy really comes into play when you're talking about taking CBD hemp. So the more compliant, the more that regulated dose is in you, you're going to hit that. And here's why. A lot of the research has shown that the magic bullet, or the magic dose amount for hemp, is 25 milligrams. That's how come instead of doing a 150 milligram tablet, what we did was we did a 50 milligram tablet, but it's broken up into 2 parts. It has an initial fast release that basically will give that hemp right under the tongue delivery, right in the system quickly. And then the second tier release, like I said earlier, it's a biphasic tablet, 2-tier release, and it will give you the ability to have that second tier release approximately 6 or so hours in, giving you 12 hours of coverage as opposed to 3 or 4 hours worth of coverage. So 1 pill, 12 hours coverage. Wow. Nothing like that whatsoever in the world.
Very cool. Well, it sounds very unique, and I'm assuming it is very unique, that ability to time release. That must be some sort of a proprietary something you don't want to talk about, probably, right?
Well, it is definitely proprietary. We've stacked ourselves up. We did testing against a lot of the other oils and a lot of the other stuff there, even nano-sized, and pretty much we've come up really, really on top. I have some labs. Let me see if I can find some. If I can share my screen one more time. Have some labs on this. Here's I'll get to it. Here's CBD is considered as an adaptogenic, and basically it is because basically the cells communicate and coordinate better with CBD. It helps CBD helps them work collaboratively. It is the only neurotransmitter able to communicate backwards, and that's how come it works great with epilepsy, and that's how come the drug Epidiolex works. It's basically if a neuron is firing too quickly, then the endocannabinoids instruct it to slow down by traveling up upstream, activating presynaptic CBD1 receptors. And this is why CBD has been miraculous. Like I said, for epilepsy and Parkinson's, it stops the shaking. It basically, helps abort the seizures. And so you can see how that is able to go back and forth bidirectionally in the synaptic cleft. So why feed your endocannabinoid system? Well, it can't get you high, but it can bring many things into balance, and ethically, without having to take a drug that has no side effect or anything like that. Now, I don't want to sound like I'm talking bad about drugs or anything, but I'm just saying this can be an alternative to many different things because it helps regulate anxiety, athletic performance, mental clarity. It is a tremendous anti-inflammatory. We have a lot of people in pain today, and they're all taking NSAIDs, which is an epidemic, especially on the opioid front. And, this in combination with perhaps some wild lettuce and, even some kratom will help quell that addiction. As a matter of fact, the endocannabinoid system in CBD not only will help with stress regulation, metabolism, it helps effectuate the gut-brain, connection via the vagus nerve pathways. It helps with detox elimination. It is a neuroregenerative and also will help with bones, soft tissue, and organs. But here's a great thing as well. It also helps regulate fat burning and blood sugar. And again, pain relief. There's so many people today that are on, these NSAIDs, and it's pretty sad. And, it doesn't have to do that. So if you unlock your endocannabinoid system, you can help overcome addiction. I believe some of the scientific studies show that over 40% of people that are taking CBD will overcome that addiction more effectively than those who did not, especially with smoking. And that's any addiction, overeating, because what it does is it helps quell the pleasure center of the brain that has that addiction, and it helps just sort of like the reset button for that. It's also great for war veterans that are coming back with PTSD, that's post-traumatic stress disorder, and anyone that's ever had a concussion or traumatic brain injury, TBI. It helps eliminate all unhealthy addictive behaviors. It will help with depression, with pain, injury recovery, and the immune system.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, tell us a little bit about Path of Purity and how do you get this product? I'm sure there's people that are just saying, hey, I think I need that, because it seems to do a lot of things. Do you have a website? Do you have a phone number? Or how would we order that?
We do have a website. It's called pathofpurity.com.
Okay.
pathofpurity.com. And basically, it's a doctor-only model right now. So if you're a doctor, please contact us. We'd love to sign you up where you can order the product and you can give it to your patients. It's been tremendous in our practice. And if you're a patient and you're looking to get this, contact your doctor and say, hey, listen, you know what? You should be using Path of Purity. It's, I hear it's really amazing. I'd like to try some. And we're always willing to work with doctors and help educate them and help bring them up to speed. I know that we do lectures with CBD, and quite honestly, a lot of the lectures are with patients in the audience and very few doctors. And it's amazing how well-informed the patients are, where the doctors have sort of been, under the misconception that this is, going to get someone high. And but we're getting out there, and the word is really spreading. And I think it's about time that that everyone's up to speed on what CBD really is and how it really can help you.
So if I'm a non-doctor and I think I really have to get this product, I should probably contact my doctor and have him contact you. Would that be the right way to do it?
Yeah, or you can have the patient contact Path of Purity and say, hey, listen, I want my doctor to use this. Send them some information. Okay. Sometimes doctors are busy, or have the doctor contact us, or both. I mean, that's what we're going with right now. We're just hard to get it out to the masses at this moment, and we do believe in a doctor-only model because we want this product to be used responsibly, especially because there is a veil of, oh my God, is this marijuana, and is this illegal, and is this going to make me sick? Is it going to make me high? We find that doctors will have the ability to really discern what the difference is between the two once they learn it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you mentioned a lot of things that CBDs seem to be good for. Do you have, I know you're part of a medical practice in New York and also Connecticut, I believe, right? You're in a couple states.
I am. It's called Apricot Wellness Center. It's myself, my partner, Dr. Jonathan Ritz. He's an ND. He is a amazing naturopathic doctor. I'm proud to call him my partner, and he is truly an inspiration. And he's a West Point grad, and he's honestly a cut above just about any naturopathic doctor I've ever seen in my entire life. So I feel very privileged to be in practice with him, and and I'm very proud to say that we use this CBD product in our practice, and we have seen results with children that has, we've had parents, giving us calls and just coming back in with their children saying, thank you for giving our child back. They were on depression meds and, just zoned out, and now they're switched on, where the anxiety is quelled and the mental focus is, enhanced. And that's exactly why, after seeing that in practice for myself, I said, what an amazing thing to even give it to my own family. I take it myself. I believe everyone should be taking it. We have an endocannabinoid system. Let's use it.
Absolutely. What's one of the best success stories that you could tell us about? I know probably you have some patient confidentiality there, but is there one that sort of stands up above some of the others that you could mention?
Yeah, there's a lot of times when people come into us and they are shaking. We use that terminology because I don't want to make any medical claims, but they come in shaking, and we can watch that abort, rather quickly. And even with myself, I can use my dog Duncan. You see a laser, right? Do you see the screen behind me?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So you see the laser behind me. I had my dog seize on me. He had a seizure, and he basically was in a bad way. And I said, "Oh my God!" And I instantly called my son to get the bottle, and he got the bottle, and we took one out, put it under put in my dog's throat, basically let him swallow it, and he instantly went into a little bit different state, and then I put him under the laser right behind you, and I actually have an image of that. I don't know if I'd be able to pull it up readily, but he that seizure was aborted, and he was fine and running around in about 10 minutes later. So and with no damage, no anything. So that's an amazing thing. Dogs have an endocannabinoid system. All mammals have an endocannabinoid system. With dogs, I believe it processes through the system a little bit quicker, but it is an amazing thing when you see what this product can do.
Now, for something like this, it's I guess it's something I'd call it a miracle maker. It's a miraculous kind of a product. It's got to be expensive. What's the cost? What would be the retail cost?
Retail cost is $150 retail, suggested retail. We sell it for significantly less in our practice, and a lot of times, so we try to give 10% off, but there's a lot of times we even give more. We just we're not in it for the money. We're in it to try to help people, and we have parents that bring their children in, and they have ADHD, or they have seizures, and they have autism and the like, and we if you've ever seen any of these children, you just want to help them. And it's not that we're trying to usurp the medical system whatsoever. It's that they've tried everything. Usually we're last resort sometimes, where they come in and say, we tried everything, help us. We don't know what else we can do. So we use a bunch of different energy meds, like laser, like PMF therapy, like light therapy as well. We work with a bunch of different practitioners in the area that actually can help do brain scanning and mapping, and so we work collaboratively with the community, and we like to try to help these children however we can. I have 2 children. I know you have children as well, and we all want them to be well, and we're willing to do whatever it takes. We don't want to see any child sick. And I know so many people say, well, wow, that sounds expensive, $135. So I don't think it's all that expensive. A cup of coffee a day,
So that's a 1 month supply when you're talking those numbers for less than a month.
It's 30
Okay.
tablets.
Uh-huh.
The bottle is actually 1,500 milligrams, but because of the bioavailability of this product, and I believe we have the report. I'm going to see if I can get to it. Let me see.
Now, Ron, that's a lot, isn't it? 50 milligrams seems that's a very hefty dose.
It not necessarily is. Basically, within that 50 milligrams, like I said, the first 25 milligrams is instant, and the other 25 milligrams is time release. What we found out that people, you always hear the stories. Let me see if we get to this back. So you always hear the stories about these people that have, smoked marijuana legally or taken it, illegally. Basically, they smoke so much, and some people get better, some people don't get better. Why? Because a lot of the research shows that it's that 25 milligrams is that magic bullet dose. Even when you're taking Epidiolex, I believe orally you take that, and I believe that ingested in the GI tract, approximately 20 to 30% of that is absorbable. So they're right in between the 20 to 30% absorbability, or the 20 to 30 milligrams through the GI tract. With us, we're giving you 25 milligrams, and that's going into the bloodstream. And what you're also doing is that time release is another 25 milligrams. So we're hitting that Goldilocks zone of where you need to be with CBD. When I was saying, the people that were smoking, before the dispensaries, and before, people smoking, marijuana, how come some of them got better, some of them didn't? It's really the ones that tried to hit, and without even knowing it, the ones that hit that target 25 milligram dose and was able to sustain it over that smoked period. So, but I'm not an advocate. I'm not telling people to go out there and smoke marijuana. I don't believe in getting high. I've never been high my entire life. I've never taken any drug. However, I do take, this. I don't believe this to be a drug. This to me is a supplement. It's a nutraceutical. So so treat it as such. So before you take any nutraceutical, any herb, any supplement, you should talk to your doctor. Your doctor should be aware what you're doing with this product and why you're taking it, and work with him. Life's a learning experience. A lot of people feel that doctors are evil and we have to go against the medical system, and that's not true at all. Work with your medical physician, educate him. These people got into practice because they genuinely wanted to help people. It's not that they wanted to nefarious action. I know that there's a lot of conspiracies, and there was some up front, with the the pulp in the industry and stuff like that. And I'm going to see if I can find some screens. It'll make you laugh. So I don't know how much time we have left, so I'm going to try to find these screens. Are you able to see the slides again right now?
Yes.
Okay, well, this is what the endocannabinoid system looks like. We have CB1 receptors and CB2 receptors. They're located throughout the whole body, and that helps regulate in all mammals. All of this has receptors, as we talked about. All right, so here's what I was just talking about. I don't know if you can follow my mouse, that here you see what CBD is. It basically covers everything. And see, you will not get an entourage effect until this is full spectrum, until all these blocks are really filled in. That's why it's important to have your CBN, CBA, CBDs, and all of everything, including trace amounts of THC, THCA, and V. And so basically, when this all goes in, and incidentally, look at the medicinal benefits of THC versus CBD. So you don't need to be high. You need to get that CBD. You just need trace amounts of that THC to be in there to get that. And when you look at, a lot of people say annual deaths, it's going to kill you. Well, here's the CBD hemp plant, and it's legal, and it's considered to be safer than marijuana. Here's a study on marijuana, and it's just some interesting facts. So if CBD is safer than the marijuana, which is high in THC, tobacco, 435,000 deaths. Poor diet and exercise, 365,000 deaths. Alcohol, 85,000. Prescription drugs, 32,000. Motor vehicle crashes, 26,000. Homicide, 20,000. Aspirin, 7,600. Peanuts, 100. You know, that's a whole interesting another story about peanuts and why people are highly allergic to peanuts. It's because the vaccines use peanut oil as the adjunct, or the irritant carrier, in that to stimulate or hyperstimulate the immune system to introduce it to the pathogen. So it's safer than peanuts. I just thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah.
And you also mentioned earlier the marijuana strain versus the industrial hemp strain. Basically, marijuana has 5 to 25% THC, and the industrial hemp has 0.3. The strain that we use in Path to Purity is approximately 0.03. We're trying to keep that as low as possible because we know we want people to use it without having to worry about being high. Again, this is from Bloomberg, and it shows cannabis sativa and cannabis sativa. Basically the same plant. One has been hybridized to create more THC, and one has been, left alone, or actually even some are hybridized to create more, CBD. Now, I love these next slides. This is what I was talking about. Propaganda. It's a noun. It's derogatory. It's information, especially of biased or misleading nature, used to promote or publicize a political cause or point of view. Now, here's marijuana. You see, like, oh my God, it's like he's injecting someone. I don't know of anyone that, was doing that. But this was the spin at the time that was going around in 1937 when they were trying to make that, illegal, because remember we were talking about the competing plant versus the pulp industry, and that's how come there's the terminology pulp fiction. That's but look to the poster at the right where it says cannabis oil. Here could be something destroys cancer cells. Now, I always tell people these are not my words, these are not my claims. I'm not making any claims on this show about CBD or otherwise. Do your homework, do your research. You're going to find out that there's plenty of studies on PubMed and AMJ and Harvard Medical and the like, and it's so easily findable. Soon we'll be able to put those on the website. Look at this, narcotics. Marijuana is a slang term from Mexico. You have the negative spin here, where it's, border patrols, a never-ending fight against narcotics, and then on the right, who will suffer from epilepsy? So, see, it's an amazing revelation when you do that. Assassins of youth. You see the scantily clad women there with marijuana, with the negative spins. It's going to destroy all of society. And I'm not advocating marijuana, but I'm just trying to show you how the whole plant, CBD as well, was vilified with it. It was tied into it, even though it was never the same. Never the same. So cannabis is not marijuana. That's why I say marijuana on the left, hemp on the right. Cannabis works with the body, and it works seamlessly and safely. And our body does have cannabinoid receptors, CB1 and CB2 receptors. Here's another one. Everyone probably heard of the movie Reefer Madness. And, here's the Devil's Garden. And it's just amazing, how they say it, it causes drug-induced psychosis. And, some people get paranoid on marijuana, but never on hemp. Marijuana does not cause schizophrenia, but it can cause a psychotic break. And that paranoia. But hemp cannot. Again, this is marijuana that's on the screen, not hemp. You look at marijuana, again, look, some private eye and, interrogating this girl, looks like she's just all wrung out. And then on the right, pot opens the door for drugs. Just throw the baby out in the bathwater. Just throw hemp out with it. This is certainly not hemp. And the sad part is a lot of people today actually have the misconception that hemp is marijuana and can get you high. So I think there needs to be an outreach, and that's what I'm trying to do, is try to educate. Even back in, old farmer days, you had cannabis. Look at all these products that were out there. It was medicinal back then. Native Americans, and and many different cultures, indigenous cultures, have utilized, hemp, and and the like. And so you had all these things. Now here's the next one's quite interesting. So this is all cannabis based, and it was, medicine, back then. Here again on the left, it's hemp, 0.3% THC, and you have old school cannabis, right? Like Dr. Poppy's Wonder Elixir. I'm assuming Poppy might be putting poppy seeds in there as well. But he's claiming it's the cure for colds, coughs, rheumatism, head tension, gout, shingles, influenza, arthritis, and so I just don't know what's in there. Obviously, maybe Dr. Poppy would. So again, don't be fooled. Again, there's so much. So people saying, okay, you can get hemp seeds and hemp oil. Nope, not the same as the hemp oil that you put on a salad or hemp seed extract. Totally different. CBD is the medicinal compound of that. Not that hemp seed is bad or hemp protein is bad. As a matter of fact, my children and I take hemp protein because it's and hemp seeds because it's great source of nutrition. Hemp seed and hemp protein is balanced in essential amino acids. So it's been an amazing product. Again, this is hemp. It's legal. Must be less than 0.3%. THC is the controlled substance. Hemp sharpens the mind and memory. Marijuana can cause memory loss and just a disconnect. Basically, CBD is antipsychotic and also anti-addictive. And THC may induce psychosis. CBD hemp is anti-anxiety, and medical marijuana or THC can make a disconnect from others. Now, I'm not saying for people that have their medical marijuana card and dispensaries, I'm not slamming that. I believe that there's a place for everything, and including this. That's up to you and your doctor. You need to make that decision. Some people can function taking lower amounts of THC. Some people can't whatsoever. Some CBD will help you reconnect, what we see in our practice. Sometimes THC, especially smoking to abundance, can help you disconnect from others. One, which is the hemp, balances the blood sugar and reduces craving and breaks addictions. And the other, it gives you the munchies. THC gives you the munchies, and therefore hypoglycemia can ensue. And it may be habit forming. That's out, for the jury. So, but those are the screens that I, did want to show you.
That's fascinating information, Ron. We're just about out of time. We have about 1 minute left. Yeah, we could talk about this. It sounds like we could talk about this for a couple of hours and probably never cover all the information. But let's one more time give the information. If you're a doctor out there or you would like your doctor, they can go to the website is pathofpurity.com. Is that right?
Absolutely, it's pathofpurity.com.
Okay.
And basically, you can contact us through the website there, give your doctor's name, and you can find out how we can send that doctor information. And if you'd like some information, then we can even send it to you to give to the doctor. We're happy to do that as well. But we're going to be increasing a lot of the info on the website where a doctor, if you have credentials and or licensure, you'll be able to sign up as an affiliate and start offering this to your patients.
Well, Ron, thanks so much for being with us. What a fascinating subject, and you have just an amazing product there, it sounds like. So I can't wait to get a hold of some and try some and just change my life around, huh?
Randy, I look forward to it. Thank you for the opportunity to speak on your show, and thank you to all the listeners.
Yes, thank you. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week, same time, same station. Bye-bye, everybody.